So I'm calling it the big debate. What am I talking about? Of course, it relates to cryptocurrency. We're talking about the SEC and the CFTC. We're talking about the Commodity Future Trading Commission and the SEC, which are both different governing bodies. Now, the SEC, on one hand, regulates securities and the securities market. The CFTC, or the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, they regulate the derivatives market. This is probably the most fundamental basic difference between the two parties. In the United States right now, Bitcoin is looked at as a commodity, and commodity futures trading is required to take place on futures exchanges regulated and supervised by the CFTC. Funds regulated under the Investment Company Act of 1940 and its rules are required to provide important investor protections. But what do I mean when I say the big debate? Well, the CFTC looks at Bitcoin, of course, as a commodity, but they also look at Ethereum as a commodity. They haven't maybe explicitly made this point over and over and over again, but everything that we can tell shows us that the CFTC and the SEC really have a big difference with everything outside of Bitcoin, the altcoins. And these two governing bodies are probably going to make up two of the main governing bodies who will hopefully at some point come to a meeting ground somewhere in the middle, hopefully, and regulate cryptocurrency. So the CFTC, what do? They protect us, the public, from fraud, manipulation, and abusive practices. That's why, in their eyes, they're going after Binance. Now, these abusive practices are always related to the sales of commodities and financial futures and options. And they also want to foster competitive, open, and financially sound futures and option markets. Now, just today, we're getting news that potentially here, Binance has had ties with China and they've been hiding those ties. Of course, this is kind of a turf war, I think, going on a little bit here between the US and China when it comes to crypto, when it comes to anything, especially new tech like blockchain, cryptocurrency. So maybe that has something to do with why the CFTC is going after Binance in particular. By the way, Binance, the largest centralized exchange, it's not even close. Now, what about the SEC? Do they also regulate commodities? Well, anyone who trades futures with the public or gives advice about futures trading must be registered with the NFA, the National Futures Association. Before investing in commodity futures, check the individual and firm that are registered. That's why people here on YouTube say not financial advice, because a lot of us are not registered. This is for entertainment purposes only. The SEC does not regulate commodity futures, however. What about the CFTC? Do they regulate securities? Well, the CFTC, on the other hand, has some jurisdiction over securities. Of course, over derivatives as well, such as futures or swaps involving commodities, except to the extent such commodities constitute securities. You can see where the lines are grayed. But the big debate here is, what is a security? What is a commodity? What does the CFTC say? What does the SEC say? They have differing opinions as it stands right now. I think we're going to get closer and closer to having some ground to stand on. My guess is by 2025, we should have regulatory framework in place in the United States. Will that be too late? Will innovation go and flourish elsewhere? It probably already is. However, this is where we find ourselves right now. We're going to keep tabs on everything related to this. Of course, it dictates where the entire industry will go and what we must do as investors to abide by the rules and regulations that are put in place. Appreciate you guys as always for stopping back by the channel. Don't forget to smash the like button down below. We'll see you in the next one.